Hey Hawks. So last time we got together, we talked about alkanes. Now we're going to talk about alkenes and alkynes. They're very similar to alkanes. Um, and so one of the differences, so alkenes are hydrocarbon compounds with at least one double covalent bond. So a double bond. Remember, double bonds are shown with two lines. So the double bond has to be between the carbons. It can never be between the carbon and the hydrogen. Okay. So there's also a routine for writing the chemical equation, right? And so if I take the number of carbons, right, and I write that down, and then if I multiply those by 2, I get the number of hydrogens. So in my example, I would have 2 hydrogens, and then 1, 2, 3, oops, sorry. And then your H is 2 times 2, which is 4. And if we look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so those are alkenes. All right. You name alkenes very similar to alkanes, right? You count the number of carbons in the chain, okay? And then use the table to figure out what the beginning name should be. So just like we did before, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. So up here on my number of carbons, I have a 4, and then that name is bute. And then here we would put an ene after it. So butene, whoops. And then the number is at what point is the double bond. So in my example, the double bond is between the first and the second. So we would write a 1, okay, for where the double bond is. So the name of this would be 1-butene. Okay. So if we were to look at the next, or at this example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. 5 on our list is pent, right? Pent or penta. So we start with pent. Remember, we put the ene on the end of it, and then the double bond is between the first and second, so we start with a 1. Okay. Here's one that's similar, right? It still has 5 carbons, but the double bond is now between the second and third one, right? So this is a 2-pentene, right? It starts at 2 is where that double bond is. Okay. The next type of hydrocarbon is called an alkyne. And so alkynes are hydrocarbon compounds with at least one triple bond. Remember, triple bonds are shown with 3 lines, okay? And therefore, they're sharing 6 electrons, okay? And then remember, you can only create single bonds between carbon and hydrogen, okay? Again, on alkynes, you can come up with the formula by counting the number of carbons, okay? And then for the hydrogens, it's double the number of carbons minus 2. So in our example here, we have 1, 2, 3 carbons. 3 is prop, right? So prop, ending is -ine, and then it's between the first and the second, so that's 1, okay? And then also for the number of carbons, so I have 1, 2, 3, so this would be C3H, And then if I know that my C is 3, my H has to be 2 times 3 is 6 minus 2, which would give me 4. Right? And so here I have 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, and that is an alkyne. Naming alkynes is exactly the same way as propane, anes, enes, and then ynes are the prefix of how many carbons there are, followed by either ane, ene, or yne. And then with enes and ynes, you need a number at the beginning to show where is that triple bond or double bond at in the chain. Okay, so that is alkenes and alkynes.